Player with a Passport. Y'all see the title. Let's get right to it. When I was in my early 20s, maybe 21, 22, I went to Mexico City for a vacation. When I went to Mexico City, I had a chaperone. I ended up going to a soccer game. Enjoyed myself at the soccer game, was jam-packed. After the game, a lot of festivities, a lot of parties, a lot of drinking, a lot of eating, everything. As I'm leaving this soccer game, I meet this young lady. Now, mind you, man, I was, like I said, I had to be maybe 22 years old, if that. You know, I used to have long braids. You know, they were all telling me that I look like Latrell Sprewell. You know, if anybody remembers Latrell Sprewell, man, that's what everybody was coming up to me saying, oh, you Latrell Sprewell, you Latrell Sprewell. But anyway, I ended up meeting this young lady. We come to an agreement, hey, later on, let's get together, let's go get something to eat. I end up getting together with her. We go out to eat. Me trying to be a big boss, big baller, I want to take her to the best restaurant. So I take her to this restaurant. When we get in this restaurant, we're sitting there, you know, we're getting ready to order, and she just wasn't feeling it. You know, again, I was young, man. I didn't know any better, you know, and so she recommended that we went to some place more local. Bottom line, we ended up going to this place that was like a taco truck, a food truck. And we get down there and we order our food, our tacos. We go sit down, run off at the mouth talking, waiting for our food to get ready. Next thing you know, bing, our food is ready. As I get up to go get the food, she grabs my arm. She's like, you know, she kind of chuckles, you know, but again, I'm young. I don't know. You know, I'm like, you know, what's up? She's like, oh, no. My chaperone tells me, oh, no, man, sit down. She'll go get that. She'll go get that. I'm like, okay, you know. I wasn't really tripping anyway. You know, I had been smoking something, you know what I'm saying? So, like, whatever. She comes back to the table. Now, this was a big table, but on the other end of the table was where, you know, all your toppings were. Lettuce, tomato, cheese, onions, yada, 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 da, 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 da. Everything was over there. So I'm like, oh, man, I kind of noticed this stuff. I'm like, damn. So I get up again to go get this stuff. She grabs my arm again. I'm like, man, what's up with this girl, man? Keep grabbing on me, you know what I'm saying? And the chaperone, he's like, man, just sit down. Just she'll take care of it. She'll take care of it. I'm like, okay. She goes over and brings the stuff over to the table. Now she's asking me, you want cheese? Yeah, I want some cheese. She puts cheese on the taco. You want lettuce? Yeah, I want some lettuce. She wants lettuce on the taco. You know, she goes through everything. You want this? Boom. What kind of salsa do you want? This salsa is hot. This is medium. This is spicy. This is light. By the way, when someone from Mexico tells you that something is hot, that means that it's fucking hot. Okay, like, don't get it twisted. All right? When they tell you something is, oh, it's kind of mild, it's really hot. Right? But anyway, man, she goes through all this stuff, and it kind of just hit me. Boom. Man, it felt right. It felt right. It felt like this is how a woman's supposed to treat a man. The roles were clear. They were defined. And I remember that, man. And I took that with me. You know, I stayed in contact with her for a little bit, and, you know, that kind of fizzled out. But I always remembered that experience of how I was treated. And this isn't some American female, oh, a slave, you're a slave. No, it's got nothing to do with that. It's that her role, and she was comfortable in that role. Women overseas have a certain kind of feminine energy that's real. It's authentic. It's calm. It's peaceful. They're very classy. You're not going to get all that cattiness like you get with American women. You know, with American women, when another female comes around, they want to get to look at her, looking her up and down and all that stuff. You don't get that overseas, right? No, they're very loving, very embracing. You know, hey girl, hey, da 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 da. You know, it's not an interrogation. You know, when you're around with American women and another woman comes around, especially if she's attractive, you know, the other American women, they want to start interrogating her. It's not genuine conversation. You don't get that overseas. You're not going to get the interrogation and the cattiness amongst females. I was in Bogota and I was kind of semi-dating this girl. Beautiful. We decided to go to a restaurant. Now, at this restaurant, they had a patio outside. Now, she was a pothead. Right? She smoked weed. She loved her weed, right? Now, we're out on the patio. Mind you, this restaurant is jam-packed. Okay? It's jam-packed. But we sitting out on the patio. She lights up her joint. I'm looking like, what the fuck? Girl, you can't be smoking, but whatever, you know? I'm all about it, you know? So she's smoking her joint. We're talking. We're running off at the mouth. Next thing you know, the server comes over. The waiter comes over. And he pretty much was the same energy I had. Like, oh, what the fuck? You can't be smoking up in here, girl. You crazy? You know what I'm saying? And with every bit of feminine energy that she had, she looks up at him. Now, the way we were seated, this hand, her right hand was kind of like inside the restaurant. Her left hand was kind of like outside the restaurant, so to speak. You know, the right hand was closer to the inside, the left hand was closer to the outside. So when he comes up on his, oh, what are you doing? You can't be smoking in here. Now, mind you, she's sitting there looking bomb, right? And she's beautiful. Real talk, scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give her a strong 8.5. I'm just going to be honest. She looks at him. She takes the joint from this hand, switches it to this hand, crosses her legs, boom. Blows it outside the patio. You know, like it was real seductive, but respectful. And it was one of those things when you see it, like, man, that's a lady. You know, like, that's a woman. And it was so good that the waiter, because I look at him like, the waiter looks at her and he's like, okay, just blow it outside. You know, I was like, damn, you know, but that just goes back to that feminine energy, right? Women here in America, man, they're so masculine. They're so masculine, man. Like, I have no desire for a female that's got a drop of masculine energy, right? I don't want her to know more about sports than me. I don't even want her to have a favorite team. I don't want her to know who all the players are. Like, to me, that's just not attractive. That's not feminine. I'm not with that. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, there aren't females that have a favorite team or a favorite player. Yeah, normal. But I'm talking about a female that's watching a sports game, and she's, oh, that was a foul. That was a flagrant foul. Oh, he should be suspended. All this, all that. Oh no, she knows the plays, like she knows everything. You know, I don't want a female like that. And the women overseas are completely comfortable and confident in their own skin. That's another thing that I like about overseas women, right? They're completely confident and comfortable in their own skin. They walk with confidence. Very attractive quality for me. The women overseas are raised to be wives. That's how they're raised. They're raised to cater to the man. They're raised to be the person that fills the home with love and compassion. That's how they're raised. Now, I'm not saying 100% of them are like this. I'm saying the majority of the females that I've dealt with had these traits. And it's the most attractive thing that you will find in overseas women versus women in the States. Women in the States, man, they're so busy trying to compete with one another. And it's an aggressive competition that's going on over here. It's not passive. The mother and father aren't teaching their daughters how to be wives. They're teaching them, hey, boom, get a job, get on your own, independent, you don't need a man. Which is a bunch of bullshit, because a man needs a woman just as much as a woman needs a man. Don't let anybody tell you any different. But they're not raised to be a couple. They're not raised with a wife mentality. They're not being given those gems by the parent. They're pretty much thrown out and figure it out on your own. Whereas women overseas, I know females overseas, man, that are 25, 30 years old, still living at home with their mother and father. You know, like they got a curfew. You know, like when they leaving somewhere, they gotta ask mom and dad. Now, some may say that that's babying, but I look at it like, that respect is there. At 30 years old, they're still respectful enough to say, hey, mom, dad, I'm going out. This is where I'm going. Here in the States, you're not going to get that. Also, women here in the States, you're not going to get that. You get that bro behavior. You know, like they want so much to be on the level as a man that they take on manly traits and manly characteristics. When's the last time you seen a female like really cross her legs? I'm talking, you know, pop, pop. Whoops. Really cross her legs. When's the last time you seen a female in the States tend to her man? And when I say tend to her man, I'm talking about make his plate. I'm talking about they're at home, he's sitting on the couch, maybe he's finished with a beer. Hey, baby, would you like another beer? She goes and gets him another beer. You don't see that in the United States. So these are just some reasons why I prefer to date women internationally. Will I deal with an American woman? Yeah, I will, but they're not a priority. They're not on the radar. I would prefer a female from overseas. Like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at player, PLAY _ER with a passport. Holla.